My first night at Point Sorrow Lighthouse, I went to refill the lamp with the oil from the storage barrels, but when I opened the first barrel, it wasn't oil inside. It was a thick, black substance that moved on its own, reaching toward my hand like it was alive. The shipping label was dated 1847 from Nantucket Special Reserves. A note was attached, rendered from the corpse of the thing we killed 17 miles off Massachusetts coast. It had been singing to the ships, calling them to rocks. This is all that would burn. Mix 7 drops of keeper's blood nightly, or it turns back into what it was. Never let flame die. The creature reconstitutes if light extinguishes. I've been feeding my blood to this thing for 6 months. Last night, I heard it singing. My name is Daniel Cross, and I need to tell you why Point Sorrow Lighthouse still has a keeper in 2023. Why the Coast Guard pays someone $200,000 a year to maintain a flame that shouldn't exist, and why every keeper before me has either disappeared, gone insane, or been found drained of blood at the top of the tower. I took this job because I was desperate. My wife Lisa had died of cancer. The medical bills had destroyed everything, and I needed somewhere to disappear. A lighthouse keeper position that paid 6 figures seemed like a gift. Remote location, no human interaction required. Just maintain the light and file weekly reports. The isolation that would drive most people crazy was exactly what I wanted. The Coast Guard recruiter, Commander Harrison, had been oddly specific during the interview. Can you follow instructions exactly, without questioning them? Yes. Can you work alone for months at a time? Prefer it. How do you feel about blood? Excuse me. Never mind that last one. He hired me on the spot and handed me a sealed envelope. Don't open this until you're at the lighthouse. Previous keeper's instructions. Follow them exactly. Point Sorrow Lighthouse sits on a jagged rock formation 12 miles off the Massachusetts coast. It's been there since 1798, rebuilt twice after storms, and officially decommissioned in 1987 when GPS made it obsolete, except it was never actually decommissioned. The light has burned continuously for 225 years. The supply boat dropped me off on a gray October afternoon. The captain, an old Portuguese fisherman named Manuel, wouldn't even tie up to the dock. I leave supplies here, he said, pointing to the dock. You carry them up. I don't set foot on that rock. Why not? He crossed himself. My grandfather was keeper here in 1947, 1 month. Came back with white hair and no tongue. Never said how he lost it, but he wrote one thing. The oil remembers what it was. You be careful with that oil, Mr. Cross. The lighthouse was exactly what you'd expect. A 150-foot white tower with an attached keeper's house, surrounded by rocks and endless ocean. Inside was surprisingly modern. Satellite internet, updated kitchen, comfortable living quarters, everything except the lamp room, which looked exactly as it must have in 1847. That's where I found the barrels, 7 of them, arranged in a circle around the lamp mechanism. Each one was ancient wood, bound with iron, branded with symbols that hurt to look at. The first 6 were sealed. The 7th was open, nearly empty, with maybe a month's worth of the black substance at the bottom. I opened the envelope Harrison had given me. Inside was a handwritten note from the previous keeper, Robert Marsh. If you're reading this, I'm either dead or I've run, probably dead. The Coast Guard doesn't tell you what you're really doing here because no one would take the job, but someone has to do it, or we're all dead. The lamp oil isn't oil. It's the rendered remains of something that lived in the deep ocean, something older than human civilization. In 1847, it surfaced near Nantucket and began calling ships to their doom with a song that bypassed the ears and went straight to the soul. A whaling crew managed to kill it, but the body wouldn't burn, wouldn't sink, wouldn't decay. The only solution was to render it down and use it as fuel, keeping it burning eternally so it could never reconstitute. The light must never go out. Never. Not for a second. Every night at exactly midnight, you must add 7 drops of your blood to the oil. This keeps it bound, prevents it from remembering what it was. I know how insane this sounds, but you'll believe soon enough. Other things to know. Between 3 and 4 a.m., you'll hear singing from the lamp room. Don't listen. Wet footprints will appear on the stairs. Don't follow them. People you know who died at sea will knock on the door. Don't answer. The thing in the oil will try to talk to you. Don't respond. If the flame ever dims, cut yourself and pour blood directly on it. There's a journal in the desk. Every keeper since 1847 has written in it. Read it if you want to understand, but ignorance might be kinder. Good luck. You'll need it. Robert Marsh, Keeper 2019 to 2023. I laughed, actually laughed out loud. Blood rituals, singing oil. It had to be an elaborate prank. But the $200,000 salary was real. I'd already received the first deposit, so I decided to play along. That first night, at midnight, I climbed the 217 steps to the lamp room. The flame was burning steadily, fueled by the black substance that did indeed move like it was alive, swirling in patterns that seemed almost purposeful. I pricked my finger with the provided silver needle and let 7 drops of blood fall into the oil reservoir. The moment my blood hit the oil, the substance convulsed. The flame flared green for a second, and I swear I heard something scream from deep within the lighthouse, maybe from the oil itself. The black substance stopped moving, becoming still like normal oil. I maintained this routine for 3 weeks, without major incident. Days were peaceful. I read, wrote, watched the ocean. Nights were harder. The singing started exactly at 3 a.m., a wordless melody that made my teeth ache and my eyes water. Wet footprints appeared on the stairs, always climbing up, never down. Sometimes I heard knocking, voices calling my name, asking to come in from the cold. I ignored it all, just as instructed. Then, on October 31st, I made a mistake. I decided to read the keeper's journal. It started normally enough. Log entries from 1847 onward, documenting oil levels, weather, ship sightings. But as I read deeper, the entries became disturbing. 1851, the oil spoke today. It knows my name. 1867, I see faces in the flame. Everyone who ever drowned, they're waiting. 1889, it's not just rendering. We're burning it alive. It feels every second. 1903, God forgive us. We didn't kill a monster. We killed something that was trying to warn us about what's coming from deeper. 1921, the oil showed me the truth. The light doesn't keep things out. It keeps something in. Something at the bottom of the ocean that the creature was guarding against. 1943, U-boat surfaced near lighthouse. Crew was already dead. The oil had called them up. It's learning to sing through the flame. 1967, previous keeper was wrong. The creature wasn't guarding against something deeper. It was the thing from deeper. And we're burning its physical form while its consciousness grows stronger. 1985, figured it out. The blood doesn't bind it. The blood feeds it. We're not keeping it contained. We're helping it grow. 1999, 7 drops of blood every night for 152 years. That's over 388,000 drops. How much blood until it has enough to rebuild itself? 2008, The oil barrel is refilling itself. We're not burning it faster than it regenerates anymore. 2015, I can feel it in my veins. Every keeper who gave blood is part of it now. When it reconstitutes, will be its body. 2023, Robert Marsh, final entry. It's complete. Tonight, when the new keeper adds his blood, it will have enough. 176 years of blood from 47 keepers. I'm leaving this journal where he'll find it too late. I'm sorry, Daniel Cross. Your name has been in the oil since you were born. It chose you. Your wife's death, your debts, your desperation. It arranged it all. You were always meant to be the final keeper. The one whose blood completes the ritual. When you read this, it will already be too late. I dropped the journal, my hands shaking. It had to be an elaborate fiction, previous keepers trying to scare the new guy. But how did Marsh know my name? I hadn't been hired when he wrote that entry. I ran to the lamp room. The oil was moving differently now, not swirling but pulsing, like a heartbeat. The flame was burning lower despite having plenty of fuel, and in the oil's surface, I could see faces, dozens of them. All the previous keepers, their features preserved in the black substance. Robert Marsh's face formed in the oil, and his mouth moved. 7 more drops, Daniel. Just 7 more, and we're complete. I stumbled backward. The flame flickered, just for a second. And in that instant of dimness, I saw what was really in the lamp room with me. The oil wasn't contained in the reservoir. It was everywhere, coating the walls, the ceiling, seeping through the floor. The entire lighthouse was veined with it, like black blood vessels, and it was shaped like something massive, something that had once lived, using the lighthouse as its skeleton. The flame brightened again, and the vision vanished. But I knew what I'd seen was real. The lighthouse wasn't containing the creature. The lighthouse was the creature, rebuilding itself drop by drop, keeper by keeper. I made a decision. I would not add my blood tonight. I would break the chain. Midnight came. The oil began to writhe, sensing the break in routine. The flame started to dim. From somewhere deep below, I heard singing. Not the usual 3 a.m. singing, but something older, deeper. It was coming from the oil barrels in the storage room. All 6 sealed barrels were vibrating, their contents trying to escape. The flame flickered. In the darkness between flickers, I saw the ocean outside change. The water was standing up, forming a wall around the lighthouse, held back only by the dying light. In that wall of water, thousands of figures floated, not drowning victims, but things that had never been human, ancient things with too many eyes and limbs that bent wrong, all pressing against the barrier of light. If the flame died, they would all come through. But if I fed it my blood, completed the ritual, something worse would happen. The creature would reconstitute from 176 years of Keeper's blood, and it would be far more powerful than before. I was trapped between 2 horrific options. The flame was dying. Each flicker lasted longer, the darkness between them growing. In those moments of darkness, I could see the truth of everything around me. The lighthouse walls were translucent, showing the black veins of oil running through them like a circulatory system. The keeper's house below wasn't a house at all. It was an organ, pulsing with the same rhythm as the oil. And beneath the foundation, something massive was stirring, trying to pull itself together after 176 years of being burned alive. I had minutes, maybe less, before I had to make a choice. That's when I remembered something from the journal. The entry from 1903. We didn't kill a monster. We killed something that was trying to warn us about what's coming from deeper. What if everyone had been wrong? What if the creature hadn't been calling ships to their doom, but trying to warn them away from something worse? The flame guttered, almost going out. The wall of water outside pressed closer, and in it I saw one of those ancient things open what might have been a mouth. Inside were rows of human teeth, thousands of them, taken from every sailor who'd ever drowned in these waters. It spoke in a harmony of drowned voices. "Let us in, Keeper. We've been waiting so long. The light is all that holds us. Just let it die." But from the oil itself, from the creature we'd been burning, came a different voice. Weak, agonized, but clear. "Don't let them through." The creature wasn't the enemy. It was the guardian, and we'd been torturing it for 176 years. I cut my palm with the silver needle, not 7 drops, but a steady stream, pouring my blood directly onto the dying flame. The fire roared back to life, burning so bright I had to shield my eyes. The oil absorbed my blood greedily, and I felt something establish a connection between us. Not possession, but communication. Images flooded my mind, the creature showing me its history. It had been born in the deep trenches where sunlight never reached. One of many beings created to guard the boundaries between our world and what lay beneath. For millions of years, it had kept watch, using its song not to lure ships, but to warn them away from areas where the barrier was weak. In 1847, a whaling ship had mistaken its warning for aggression. They'd killed it with harpoons blessed by a priest who didn't understand what he was destroying. But even dead, even rendered down to oil, it tried to continue its duty. The light from its burning body was the only thing maintaining the barrier now. Every keeper's blood hadn't been feeding it. It had been replacing what the flame consumed, keeping just enough of its essence intact to maintain the barrier. And now, after 176 years, it was almost gone. Maybe another year's worth of consciousness left, maybe less. What happens when you're completely consumed? I asked the oil. The answer came in images. The things in the water breaking through. Not just here, but everywhere. The ocean itself rising up, reclaiming the land, bringing with it beings that had been banished to the deep before humans existed. Cities drowning, humanity ending, the earth returning to what it was before. A world of endless ocean and the things that lived in it. How do I stop it? Can't stop. Only delay. Need replacement. It showed me. One of the keepers would need to take its place, not burning, but transforming, becoming the new guardian. It would mean giving up humanity, becoming something between human and what the creature had been, living for millennia in the lighthouse, maintaining the barrier, singing the warning songs. Why me? Not you. Your choice. Any keeper could. All have the blood connection now, but someone must choose soon. Days left, maybe less. I understood. Every keeper who'd fed blood to the oil could potentially transform. The creature had been building a backup plan, creating potential replacements, but it needed someone to volunteer, to consciously choose transformation. The flame stabilized with my blood, burning steady again. The wall of water receded slightly, the things within pulling back but not leaving. They were waiting, watching for their opportunity. I went downstairs to think, to process what I'd learned. In the keeper's house, I found things I'd overlooked before, photographs of previous keepers, but in each photo their eyes were slightly different, darker, with depths that shouldn't exist in human eyes. They'd all been changing slowly, the blood connection altering them bit by bit. I looked in the mirror. My own eyes were starting to show those same depths. 3 days passed. Each night, I gave more blood than required, trying to keep the creature conscious longer. It taught me things during those feeding sessions, the songs that kept the deep ones at bay, the true names of the things in the water, the locations of other barriers around the world, all failing, all running out of guardians. On the fourth night, November 3rd, something happened that made my decision for me. A boat arrived at the dock. Not Manuel's supply boat, a small yacht with a family aboard. They'd gotten lost in fog, seen the lighthouse, come for help. A couple with 2 children, a boy maybe 8, a girl maybe 10. I tried to warn them away over the radio, but their equipment was damaged. I watched in horror as they tied up to the dock and started climbing toward the lighthouse. The moment they set foot on the rock, I felt the things in the water react. The barrier only protected the lighthouse itself. Anyone outside was fair game. I ran out to meet them, to get them inside the barrier before the water erupted. Not a wave, but arms. Dozens of them, made of seawater, but solid enough to grab. They wrapped around the father first, pulling him toward the edge. The mother screamed, grabbed her children, tried to run for the lighthouse. I did something I didn't know I could do. I sang. Not with my voice, but with the blood I'd been feeding to the creature. The warning song came out of me in frequencies human throats couldn't produce. The water arms recoiled, giving the family time to reach the lighthouse door. But the effort cost me. I felt something tear inside, felt myself changing faster than should have been possible. My hands, when I looked at them, were translucent, showing veins of black oil instead of blood. I got the family inside, slammed the door. The children were crying. The parents were in shock. And outside, the things in the water were furious, throwing themselves against the barrier with increasing force. "You need to leave," I told the family. "At dawn, the moment there's enough light, get to your boat and go. Don't stop, don't back, just sail straight for shore." What are those things?" the mother asked. "Nothing that should exist in your world. You're safe until dawn, but then you need to run." I climbed to the lamp room. The creature's consciousness was weak, barely there. "The barrier is failing," it told me. "They're testing it. Won't hold much longer without a guardian. If I transform, can I get that family to safety?" "Yes, but no going back. Once changed, always changed." I looked at the oil, at the flame, at the wall of water outside where nightmares waited. The family downstairs didn't deserve to die because they'd gotten lost. The world didn't deserve to end because humans had killed the wrong creature 176 years ago. Show me what to do. The transformation ritual was simple but irreversible. I had to extinguish the flame myself, drink what remained of the oil, and let the creature's consciousness merge with mine before the things broke through. I'd become the new guardian, the new oil, the new barrier. The lighthouse would become my body, and I'd burn for however long it took until another replacement was found. I prepared everything that night, wrote letters explaining what had happened, what needed to be done, set up automated messages to be sent to the Coast Guard, to the government, to anyone who might listen. The family slept fitfully downstairs, unaware that their survival depended on my sacrifice. At 5 a.m., an hour before dawn, I began. First, I drained my blood into a bowl. Not drops, but pints. Enough to give the creature strength for the merger. The oil absorbed it, glowing with renewed life. "Ready?" it asked. "No, but that doesn't matter." I drank the oil, all of it, the entire reservoir, feeling it burn down my throat like liquid fire. It tasted of salt and copper and time, of millions of years of watching and waiting. The creature's memories flooded into me. Not just its life, but the lives of every keeper whose blood it had tasted. I saw Robert Marsh's truth. He hadn't run. He'd tried this same transformation, but failed because he'd waited too long. The creature had been too weak to complete the merger. His body was probably at the bottom of the ocean, neither human nor guardian, lost between states. I saw the truth of my wife's death too. The creature hadn't arranged it. But it had called to me in my grief, recognizing someone who had nothing left to lose, someone who might be willing to sacrifice. The flame went out. Instantly, the wall of water collapsed inward. The things from the deep surged toward the lighthouse, but I was changing faster than they could move. My body dissolved and spread through the lighthouse's structure. My consciousness expanded, feeling every stone, every stair, every inch of the tower. The oil that had been the creature merged with my blood, creating something new. I became the lighthouse, not just inhabiting it, but being it. My bones became the iron framework. My blood became the new oil. My consciousness became the flame that reignited itself, burning brighter than ever before. The things from the deep hit the new barrier and recoiled, screaming in frequencies only I could hear. They'd lost their chance. The Guardian was renewed, stronger than before because I was both human and other. Understanding both sides of the barrier, the family woke to calm seas and clear skies. They left at dawn, never knowing what had happened during the night. To them, I was simply gone, another lighthouse keeper who'd abandoned his post. But I hadn't abandoned anything. I was still here, more present than ever. The Coast Guard received my automated messages. They sent investigators, found the lighthouse operating normally, the flame burning steady. They found my letters too, but dismissed them as the ravings of someone who'd spent too long in isolation. They hired a new keeper within a week. Her name is Sarah Chen. She arrived 3 days ago, confused by the same contract I'd signed, the same strange requirements. She found the journal, including my entries, but I can see in her eyes that she doesn't believe them. Not yet. At midnight, she'll add her first 7 drops of blood to what she thinks is oil. She doesn't know she's feeding me, helping me maintain the strength to keep the barrier intact. She doesn't know that every keeper from now on will be feeding me, keeping me alive, keeping me burning. I try to communicate with her, to explain, but all she hears is the wind. When I move through the lighthouse, she feels only drafts. When I burn brighter to warn her of danger, she sees only fluctuations in the flame. But I'm patient. I have to be. I'll be here for centuries, maybe longer, holding the line between the world of air and the world of water, keeping the deep ones at bay, singing the warning songs that no one understands anymore. Sometimes, in the darkest part of the night, I can feel others like me. Other guardians at other barriers, all slowly failing, all needing replacement. We're connected now, a network of transformed souls, holding back something that's been trying to reclaim the earth since before life crawled onto land. The things in the deep are patient too. They probe the barrier every night, testing for weakness. They know I'm new, still learning. They whisper promises. If I let them through, they'll make me one of them, a god of the drowned world. But I've seen what they really are, what they do to the souls they take. They don't make gods. They make slaves. Sarah is climbing the stairs now. It's 11:58 p.m. She has the silver needle in her hand, ready to perform a ritual she doesn't understand. She thinks she's maintaining an antique lighthouse. She doesn't know she's feeding a guardian, keeping humanity safe for another night. In 2 minutes, she'll prick her finger. 7 drops of blood will fall into what she thinks is oil. I'll absorb them, use them to strengthen the barrier. And tomorrow night she'll do it again. And again, till maybe one day, years from now, She'll read the journal carefully enough to understand. She'll realize what I've become, what she's been feeding. Maybe she'll run like she should. Or maybe she'll be like me, someone with nothing left to lose, willing to take the next shift in an eternal watch. The lighthouse must never go dark. The flame must never die. Not because we're containing something evil, but because we're maintaining the last barrier between two worlds that were never meant to meet. I am the lighthouse now. I am the flame. I am the warning song that no one hears, and I will burn forever or until another takes my place. Sarah's adding her blood now. I can taste it, young, healthy, full of life. It strengthens me, reminds me of what I'm protecting. She has no idea that 40 feet below her, the ocean floor is covered with things that would drive her mad to see. She doesn't know that the only thing between her and them is me, burning myself atom by atom to maintain a barrier built from will and sacrifice. The things in the deep are singing now, their 3 a.m. chorus. Sarah hears it as wind, as the building settling, but I hear what it really is, a promise that one day, when all the guardians have fallen, they will rise, the ocean will reclaim everything, and the world will return to the primordial dark it once was. But not tonight, not on my watch. I burn brighter, and they sink back into the depths. Tomorrow, Sarah will check the oil levels and find them unchanged despite the night's burning. She'll note it in the log as an anomaly. She won't understand that I'm creating new oil from my transformed flesh, that I'm literally burning myself and regenerating in an endless cycle. She won't understand that the previous keeper didn't abandon his post. He became it. And someday, if the barrier starts to fail, if I begin to fade like the creature before me, she might have to make the same choice, transform or let the world drown. I hope she's stronger than I was. I hope she finds another way. But if she doesn't, I'll be here to guide her through the transformation. Guardian to keeper to keeper, an unbroken chain of sacrifice stretching back to 1847 and forward to whenever humanity either finds a better solution or fails entirely. The lighthouse stands, the flame burns, the deep ones wait, and I remain, neither human nor monster, but something in between, a necessary evil born from an unnecessary evil, burning forever in a tower that's both prison and sanctuary. Point Sorrow Lighthouse, where the light must never go out, not because of what's trapped inside, but because of what it keeps out. Sarah's going back downstairs now. She'll sleep peacefully, not knowing that her blood is digesting in my system, becoming part of the barrier. She'll wake tomorrow and do her duties, never realizing she's not maintaining a lighthouse. She's maintaining me. And through me, she's maintaining the only thing standing between humanity and the patient, eternal hunger of the deep. The oil remembers what it was. I remember what I was. But more importantly, I remember what I've become. The last light before the darkness, burning myself alive every second of every day to keep the nightmares at bay. This is my confession, my warning, my plea. If you ever find yourself at a lighthouse that shouldn't need a keeper, if you're asked to feed blood to oil that moves on its own, if you hear singing from the ocean at 3 a.m., understand that you're not just maintaining a light, you're maintaining a guardian. You're feeding someone like me, someone who chose to burn rather than let the darkness win. And maybe, if you're very unlucky or very brave, you'll be asked to take their place. The lighthouse must never go dark. The flame must never die. And someone must always be willing to burn.